Welcome to The Reset, a weekly dispatch of experiences and takes on performance and modern care. For the athlete, the practitioner, and the thinker, we break down recovery, health, and performance systems to reshape the conversation around wellness. Welcome everybody to the Reset audio files. Today's episode will cover the cultural shift in wellness. Moving on from a narrow and simplistic focus of physical fitness and quick fixes to a more holistic, long-game view of well-being. The cultural shift we are experiencing in the health and wellness field is emphasizing the interconnectedness of physical, mental, and emotional health. Key changes include increased focus on social and psychological determinants of health, the integration of key services like manual treatment and nutrition, and the growing importance of cultural competency and equity in healthcare. We will explore these topics and their constituents further in order to understand and prioritize their importance in the grand scheme and how they can help or hurt our progress in achieving the most functional physical and emotional state we possibly can. It'll also help shape how we can accept the inevitability of healing as a long-term approach rather than a quick sprint. I hope you enjoy it. The Reset, Episode 22. The Cultural Shift in Wellness. Wellness. Well-rounded. What is wellness? Before it became mainstream to say and talk about, I'm sure the term had a more literal meaning, considered and used vaguely to describe how one was feeling. I'm well, thank you. Perhaps it described an absence of illness or injury. It maybe even went as far to include a deeper, more spiritual integration of the feeling at peace or content with oneself. In today's world, modern culture has morphed the meaning of this state of being into a larger, more indirect entity that may or may not measure your true health status. One that carries certain weight in the community and worn like a badge of honor. This is typically done through the participation and exploration of various aspects of health and fitness practices, often completed at random, without true collaboration between practices or practitioners, only to receive and achieve mediocre results in the process. And though still we generally defer to the foundation of the term, even when offering a zero-sum outcome in its effect, wellness. Obviously, it's a little complex, and we made it that way. Through my many years of deliberate practice on improving my own state of wellness, I can say that my impression of the word holds a more of a broad efficacy of one's own health state. Currently, it consists of the many practices and modalities that are either effective or popular, where in reality, it should consist of very specific guidance carried out by extremely knowledgeable practitioners. And while in our attempt to improve our own wellness, we mainly consider the physical acts of staying fit, participating in social-based physical activities, and then remedying the breakdown or injury caused by them with reactive medicine and healing practices, all in the pursuit of true wellness. We must consider a more well-rounded approach than that. We should put ourselves through a regular health audit. One that promotes a focus on balanced and well-rounded care. This should be a healthy audit that is not meant to disgrace our efforts to be healthy, but one that we can have a good relationship while analyzing where we could improve. When we examine how well we are taking care of ourselves, we should consider a few things. 1. How prepared do we feel to perform physical tasks every day, i.e., how strong do we feel in our own bodies? 2. What is our active role in recovering from those physical tasks? Do we have a plan to heal and rebound from them? Whether they're performed at work or in the gym, etc. And 3. How efficient and consistent can we be in carrying out those tasks? Is this practice of physical fitness and recovery sustainable? And if not, how can we improve it to be so? An effective human being is a whole that is greater than the sum of its parts. Ida Rolf. Ida was a specialist in alternative medicine of the human body in its physical form and the treatment of that body to improve its feeling and function. This quote of hers points to her philosophy of structural integration, which I've included a link of if you're wondering, which views the body as a whole system where imbalances in one area affect the entire structure, not just the individual parts. It can and should be used to describe more than the physical body. It should be used to understand how the emotional and cognitive brain and the spirit of the human being as a whole is not only affected by the physical self, but inspired by it, and vice versa. For nothing we do in isolation fails to have an effect on the collective. The commercialization of healing. The branding of fitness and health, a filtered example of wellness. There used to be a time where we would witness feats of strength and health with our own eyes in real time, and only then we could see the outcome of the hard work that shaped a healthy individual. Now, with social media, we can witness the entirety of the work that goes into looking and feeling physically fit. No lies, no hiding, just pure truth and disclosure. But is that true? Can we really trust the person behind their screen? Should we buy the things that they are being paid to display on their posts because they use them too? Do they even use them? I don't think we really should. And it's not for the reasons you may think. I do feel a certain way about the social media construct and its position as a method to showcase oneself in the chosen light that makes us look better. For whether it is a six-pack and big arms or a life of luxury that's being shown, those success stories and how-tos have less impact on your life than you'd think. The actual transferability of information to skill acquisition for what you watch and what you see on social media is minimal. It is a long road to figuring out how to navigate your health and keeping a solid routine that works perfectly for you. So watching the outcomes of someone else's extreme, complex journey is probably more detrimental to your own. My biased opinion aside, it's not healthy to take too much stock in what others put out there, good or bad. Simply because there's no possible way to know everything that happens in someone else's life that would have an effect on those outcomes, nor should we. We all have our own lives, our own decisions and outcomes, and our own beliefs and responsibilities. This is what you can control, and this is what you should aim to work on. This is the backbone of my belief that health, like everything else in your life, should be tailored to you, not the masses or the type of person that you want to be. Because the person in the moment, that's you, is the one that needs the attention. It's the only way to move forward in your journey and in life. The commercialization of health and fitness can be and is used in great ways by a lot of companies and individuals. But there are a growing few who choose notoriety at all costs, fame and or attention, and incentivization over real care and results. Showcasing the struggle and the setbacks is important, but showcasing the realism of it all possibly is more useful. The truth of the matter is, the success on every level takes time, money, and attention. It has to be a choice that you make every day to prioritize yourself as the key ingredient in your life's happiness and success. And even then, it's important to have the structure and guidance that leads you there. That's where a team of professionals is most handy. You need to bring the effort to the table, but without the curated care, you could be spinning your tires in the sand. Culture of care. I have talked about the culture of care before. From the perspective of the clinician, it's the patient-first mentality of providing your service. The extra attention to detail when it comes to understanding them as people, first, and patient or client, second. And the vast knowledge to help them in any situation when they need it. Any injury, any race or competition, in any stage of life. From the perspective of the patient or the client, It's the me-first mindset that needs to take place. That means prioritizing yourself as a human with physical and mental requirements to stay sharp and stay healthy. Hiring the right people to take care of you as you ascend to another level within yourself is a big piece to obtaining that level of health. That's the beauty of what I get to do every day, is the coming together with a client to achieve that state if they wish to. The leaders in this space are the ones responsible for laying the foundation and the standard of care. Not just in a safe way, but an effective one. It's not enough to just be handing out cookie-cutter treatments for everyone like it's Halloween. I have this conversation a lot with both colleagues and my students. When I teach them to harness their style in a unique way, one that they can only produce. Simply because I won't be there every time they work, and they need to be able to navigate different cases without me. But there's a certain level of care that I always transfer to them in our sessions. Whether it's a physiotherapist, a chiro, osteopath, athletic therapist, or a massage therapist, it is vital that they are able to create positive change with their treatments, every treatment. The skill set is outlined by the ability to identify and assess the issues at hand, and be able to mitigate the pain and limitation caused by them. Those are real outcomes and real possibilities if the skill set's there. The leaders in this space, like clinic owners, gym owners, and health facility managers, are responsible for hiring the most skilled and most human-first practitioners possible to work with their community. Sometimes this comes naturally, but in my experience, it's very rare to find a skilled practitioner that has the ability to do all of that and is willing to work as a team member without hiccups. For that to happen, the culture of the space has to be set, alongside the continuing education piece. If there is a learning environment where those skilled practitioners are able to thrive in both teaching and learning, the table is set for success. Passing on the knowledge of this business is something that rarely gets attention, believe it or not. As someone who has spent over 3 years in educational institutes as an instructor and now over 5 years in private mentorship, I have seen where the skills I'm speaking of come from. A lot of stress is placed on the postgraduate system and private teachings for students and practitioners to attain more knowledge. This can be a problem because there is little nuance in those teachings. Sometimes even refuting that you can even make a difference within the body with your manual treatments. And quite frankly, the information passed down in most of those courses is recycled from old textbooks that I have sitting in my office from my kinesiology program. This is why the culture of care approach is for much more than just patient-practitioner relationships, but also from owner-operator to practitioner ones. It starts from the top. If the room for growth isn't present, the level of care will always be limited. That's what got me into private mentorship. I'm allowed to cater to my constituent and help them achieve a level of care that they can apply with their bare hands, and is mostly ignored and refuted by the mainstream education system in the continuing education courses. This is how we change the game. Wrapping up. Health is a complex topic. It takes a lot to feel well and live without pain or dysfunction. And even with all the effort and time, it's still no guarantee. But I never believed in investing so much for nothing. That's why not only what you do for yourself, but how you do it matters. We are able to make great impact on the human body with some targeted, curated physical fitness and manual work. It's what sets me aside as a practitioner, and I have 10 years of proof working with professional athletes to prove that. If I can't work some magic while working with those people, I don't work. Period. There's only a certain level that being nice and attentive to your patients gets you in this field. I've had the honor of working with many different types of athletes at the highest levels. Female boxing champions, professional hockey players, international track athletes, basketball and football players. But I work a lot with regular everyday people, moms and dads who train at F45 and run the occasional marathon, And a lot of my clients come from the world of banking, finance, or law, where they're sitting at a desk all day and then going to the gym after to stay healthy. One thing I know from working with every single one of those people is that you can and should benefit from good manual intervention in your rehab or maintenance treatments. It's something that a lot of places and a lot of practitioners are just missing on. And there should be a place that's set up to provide that for you. In my journey through this field and learning so much about the function of the human body, I'm also learning so much about what needs to happen to have a lasting effect on it. To change the landscape of anything is a lonely, difficult path. One that I'm currently on. This is my reason to alter the process and improve the lasting outcome of healthcare. I believe in this movement, and I believe that everyone could benefit from it. In health and performance, Alex.